Peaky, Tuapiki goes himself, slices through, will score. All a little bit too easy on that right edge. It was the edge we thought they had to go to. And as well, Healy going. Sam Healy just looks. Boyd's on the left. That's where they go. Goes front door for Graham-Taufa. And Taufa does the rest. Who needs two? We're going to try and get six. He'll go to going, will find Ali. They reload on the left. That's where Tanner Boyd's just perched now, and that's where they go. Hanson, Graham-Taufa, he'll get another clear run to the line and grab a double. Just linked up beautifully, the two halves. Volkman, dummies to Kia, Talatiena, balls hit the ground. Sometimes it works. Namva throws the ball for Newlands. Newlands for the corner, and the Eels get there first. Kia, Volkman, they got up quickly, slipped out of the tackle though. Still going is Volkman. The quick play the ball. Twiddle. Samrani found Tungor rolls over the top of Tuapiki and gets to the line. He wanted it, he got it. Really get the opportunity to saturate this Warriors defensive line. Lussick drives out a dummy half. The referee's had a look. In-goal touch judge has a look, and Lussick scores. Now saw the opportunity to Sam Healy. I've been waiting. He gets away. The ankle just got hold of the jersey. Twiddle chops him to the ground. Now Tafua gets up. Boyd goes out the back. Hanson slicing through, pops the pass, and they bring it around beautifully. Edward will change. They go to Boyd on the right. They got numbers on this right edge. They can get the shift. 2 for the try line and gets it. You can see the numbers there. Set. Going, skipping, Boyd to a Peaky. Now for Leatawa, swan dives into the corner. We've been waiting for Ali. Just clipped him enough. They reload. It's on the last tackle. They've got to come to the right. Boyd, the tip on. Leatawa for the line. 2.
I reckon he's got there.
My word, he has. To a Peaky, back inside for Hanson for the line, and he does deserve one.
Week's disaster at the hands of the St George Illawarra Dragons with a quite impressive 28-point victory in the first preliminary final of the Knock-On Effect New South Wales Cup. They will now take on the St George Illawarra Dragons and desperately look for revenge off that deficit. But in this side that didn't play in the second week of the finals, you go back last week, there was no Sam Healy, there was no Eddie Toyava, there was no Tanner Stowers-Smith, there was none of those players in and amongst that lineup. Tanner Boyd in there too will bring some experience. We'll have a little bit of a grand final preview in just a moment. But for Parramatta, there is no shame in defeat in against this side, because ultimately a team like this for Parramatta this season has battled against a lot. There wasn't many top 30 prospects in this game, and to be honest with you, it was a miracle they were even within that close of them after the first half. I thought that try to Lussick was really key in turning the clogs on the match. We'll have a little review of their season in a matter of moments. But anyway, we've got some performances to look at here, and it's hard to go past our man of the match, Tane Tuapiki. He picked up a try in this one, 17 runs, 198 metres, 3 line breaks, 3 line break assists, 3 try assists, 9 tackle breaks as well for the energetic fullback Tane Tuapiki. Just his 9th game of the season in this competition. Of course, he's been in and out of the side with injury and up into the NRL level. But Tane Tuapiki, our man of the match in this one. Next up, Luke Hanson. He had a try, just 50 running metres, but a line break and an offload. 2 line break assists, 2 try assists, 14 tackles and the 1 miss. Given all the halves, mixing my bobs over the last couple of weeks, Hanson being the #1 playmaker, along with Tanner Boyd, has been a real saviour for this New South Wales Cup side since his return from a facial fracture at training. And then Sam Healy, 9 runs for 89 metres, 7 tackle breaks, a line break, a 1-on-1 steal, 32 tackles with 4 missed and 4 ineffective. Stowers-Smith had over 100 metres. Ali Leatawa, the centre, came off late with just under 10 minutes to play. He had over 100 metres, a line break assist, a try assist, and 7 tackle breaks. Next up for Parramatta, Jordan Samrani, 13 runs, 137 metres, a line break assist, a try assist, 5 tackle breaks and 2 offloads, 14 main tackles, 2 missed in a solid year for the New South Wales Cup Player of the Year, Jordan Samrani. Next up, Jake Tungo. He picked up a try, 13 runs, 137 metres, a line break, 3 tackle breaks. It's been a challenging year with injury for Jake Tungo. Of course, he started the year in the NRL, had a sort of a rough initiation against Melbourne down in Melbourne, but he scored 15 tries in 16 games this year. And then finally, Dan Keary had 80 minutes in the middle of the field, 11 runs to 88 metres, 2 tackle breaks with 53 tackles. 3 missed, 2 ineffective. He will leave behind a lot of leadership next season. Others to play well, I thought Rimadu Greg through the middle third and his stint was impactful. Will Lewis with ball in hand was pretty strong. Defensively though, he was a bit of a nightmare out there. He missed 8 unfortunately. But as our good friends over at the Cumberland Throw were telling us this week, this was a very different side in this one. They only had 4 players on a top 30 deal out there and 2 Ron Massey players. So big thanks to the Cumberland Throw for their support this year. But let's have a bit of a deep dive of this Parramatta season as a whole, because I think this year is a great success for Nathan Kalis. They missed the finals last year. They were a much improved outfit. We saw the emergence of guys like Arpa in this side this year play a really important role. We also saw the emergence of Lorenzo Talataina, for example, playing in the back end of the season. We also saw guys like Matt Dury start the year here and earn away pretty consistently in the first grade. Brendan Hands was a key part. He wasn't there as he went over to chase his dream in England. Kane Kalachi's injury came at the worst possible time back in round 18. And then you got other players in there that we didn't really see too much of over the course of the season. Ryan Madison departed from England. He was such a key part of this side. But they also saw the emergence of guys like Aras Nanva, who was really solid throughout the year. Remember, Josh Papali started the year here in this age group before moving over to the NRL squad, where he did a pretty sound job all season. And then the likes of Saxon Pryke, his injury came at a really bad time. Samrani's inclusions up and down the NRL squad, and as I mentioned, the other injuries in and amongst the squad. But overall, a very consistent and exciting year for Parramatta. They used about 50 players this season. And to Nathan Kalis' credit, they came up with the goods on every occasion. So congratulations to Parramatta on what has been a sound season. So, looking at our final time for our roadmap to CommBank Stadium, and of course the grand final this Sunday between the St George Illawarra Dragons and the New Zealand Warriors. The teams have played 3 times this season, resulting in a win for each side and a draw at Wynn Stadium. Both of these sides will be looking and keen for an eager performance in this game. The Dragons in particular, when they were full strength back in round 7, the Warriors, they lost by 40 points to 12. The Dragons have suffered some injuries. No Loko Pacific Tonga, no Jacob Halangahu. Those are 2 major losses for this side that was named this week. Also out of that side is Jet Liu, who picked up a jaw injury. But there is the good news of Blake Laurie coming back into this run-on side. And of course, they've had to manipulate some chess pieces. They're moving Jacob Webster in the lock this week. And then for the Warriors, you don't change a winning formula. They are, as per program, Jet Cleary playing the utility half off the bench. It wouldn't surprise me if they may remove one of those forwards in like a Tobias Crosby for Cleary or even Moala Graham-Taufa. But it seems like Taufa and Healy have been playing this really hybrid role of late. And that's been a real boost for this Warriors side. It's hard to tip anything other than a Warriors win, purely because of how dominant they have been all season. But the Dragons did get that huge win a couple of weeks ago. It's going to be a massive ask to beat this full-strength Warriors side. But you look at some guys there like Cody Ramsey, Lockie Ilias looking to put themselves in the shop window for sides, and they might very well do it. Well, moving up north to Queensland now, we're going to the UAA Park on the Gold Coast. The Burleigh Bears, the minor premiers, going up against the Redcliffe Dolphins. The Dolphins last year surprised the minor premiers and eliminated them. Will they do the same this time? Let's find out with Jury Forbes.
Bit of freedom the last few weeks. I think that's what they've got to maintain today. Have an attacking mindset, because if they get into a grind, it favours the Burleigh Bears. That's their style, but a big penalty here, Jury.
So Will Partridge, as he lines this one up, and he makes no mistake. Zachariah Miles, a few metres out. Jordan Plath finds Patama. Offload away. Lalesio strikes. And Lalesio scores. And the Redcliffe Dolphins, they couldn't have dreamt of a start. Thank you, Adam. James to Dontere Louis. Chance here. Lovely pass from Miles to Dobson. Steps inside Toya. Too good for Watson. William Dobson. As Roach goes to Hamilton. This is the last tackle. McGavin out of the line. They got the overlap. Leo for the corner. Work to do. Oh, the Dolphins absolutely swarmed.
There's no try because there's no grounding, but the contact is direct and forceful to the head. He's on report and he's in the bin.
Can they find a way through Burleigh? Oh, yes, they can. Cole Geyer. Geyer when his team needs it the most. They must find a way to hold on here, Burleigh. Here's Allen. And we've got another penalty.
Report at a minimum here, Tyson. There's a fair amount of force laterally into that knee. Time off.
So Will Partridge. Every point is valuable here today.
Final, it can really hurt your team.
Nonu with a strong tackle there on Watson. Now Hamilton with an interesting kick. Came off for Dolphin. Credence Toyer emerges with the football. And Toyer with perhaps the most important try of his Host Plus Cup career. With the Dolphins hold on, and Mapapalangi slams it down. And the Burleigh Bears with a chance to hit the front. He moves in, and to give his team the lead for the first time today, and he does exactly that. This will be the last play here. Now or never for the Dolphins. And James puts boot to ball, crossfield kick. And Watson's going to throw it into the crowd.
Here, Redcliffe from the bottom half of the 8, coming in and potentially upsetting first place. I mentioned it last week in the show, and I'm going to say it again this week. That is a really unlucky result for the Redcliffe Dolphins. Burleigh scoring 2 tries in the final 10 minutes of play to seal the game. And it was an epic conclusion to that game, I beg my pardon. But Burleigh, they go through to the grand final, their first grand final in 2 years, when they played the Brisbane Tigers at KO Stadium as well. And it's a pretty impressive display. For Redcliffe, though, there's nothing to be too disheartened about here. They were pretty important in this game as well to make it quite a good contest. Let's take a look at some of the key performers in our stats deep dive. And our man of the match was Guy Hamilton. He had several try involvements, also 19 runs for 91 metres in this one. He also had 3 tackle breaks. He also had a forced dropout, 27 tackles with just the 1 miss for Hamilton in this one. Also for the Burleigh side was Adam Christensen, the former South Sydney player. He had 80 minutes on the edge. He also had 10 runs to 79 metres, a line break, 2 tackle breaks, 35 tackles with a 100% tackle efficiency rate. Then we go to Cole Geyer. And Geyer had 47 minutes off the pine, a try, 11 runs to 97 metres, a line break, 28 tackles, 3 missed, 1 ineffective. As far as the the Broncos contracted players were concerned, you had likes of Fletcher Baker and Josh Rogers. Baker heavily linked with an exit away from the club at the moment. And then you had Josh Rogers, who's playing for his future, but I think he's pretty strongly going to be heading back home to Perth and playing with the Perth Bears in 2027 as a depth piece. That's my gut feel at the moment. But for Burleigh, an impressive display in the second half, getting them all the way through to the grand final. For Redcliffe, I'm going to go to Jordan Plaff here, rather. He picked his moments when to run from dummy half. He had 2 offloads, a game-high 58 tackles with 1 missed, 2 ineffective. He came back from South Sydney in his field of pretty important role for the Dolphins over the course of this final series. And I'll talk you through why, because Kyle Schneider's not been playing. A couple of their hooking options have been taken out of the question due to the injuries up in first grade. Carl Olawapu's been doing a great job as the utility. And Plaff has come in and done a really good job. He's been playing big minute roles of late, and he's absolutely smashed it out. Then we go to Will Partridge in the pear tree. He had 12 runs, 124 metres, a line break, 3 tackle breaks, 15 tackles, 100% tackle efficiency. He's been a great pickup for the Dolphins in 2025, coming across from the Northern Pride, doing a great job with Eric Smith, and he's been absolutely killing it too. So Will Partridge, once again, on top in this one. And then we go Sheldon Pitama. He had a try assist, a line break assist, an offload as well to set up that first try. 2 tackle busts, and then 38 tackles with just a 1 miss. Sheldon Pitama doing a lot of good things in this one at the moment for the Redcliffe Dolphins. But we're going to do a bit of a recap now on the Dolphins season and how they've been going. They finished the year, remember, all the way down in 6th position, and they had to go through an elimination game with Papua New Guinea. They had a great win in Townsville, and then this one, it just seemed like the gas ran out. Burleigh had been a bit of a bogey side for them. They lost 30-10 back in round 20 against them. But it's been a pretty solid year for Eric Smith's side. Eric Smith, of course, departing the club at the end of the year. He's, I think, going down to Canberra. But some players here who did a really good job. Josh Allen's going to be sorely missed next year. Max Bailey's going to be sorely missed next year. He's going across to play in France. A couple other players. Trey Lalesio is going to be a huge loss for them. He's going over to Super League. It's going to be intriguing to see what signings they make to this squad heading into 2026 to take them to that next level, to get them over the premiership hump, which they haven't done since 2018. But a fair season for Redcliffe Dolphins, and of course we'll preview the grand final after our next preliminary final, which we'll take you to right now, which sees the Norths Devils taking on the winner Manly Seagulls out at Bishop Park. The Devils are searching for yet another grand final appearance. Meanwhile, for Wynnum, they're searching for their first grand final appearance in quite a while. So let's take you to all the action from Bishop Park.
The Devils.
Outside and through. Outside.
And now back towards the centre. O'Sullivan. Early kick in behind. Ahern is chasing through. And Jack Ahern.
3 and 4.
Ahern scores.
Donuts.
O'Sullivan on the last. They run it Norths and Milson. Milson's through. Gets away from Grant. Puts in the kick. Kenny Bromwich in pursuit. And Liam Sutton watchful.
Yes, that's right. We had a good victory last weekend.
Jordan Grant still going. Offensively for the Devils. Madden again puts it high. Liam Sutton thought about contesting. What a take there by Hoyter. Deloise Hoyter. This they held on. I thought he was going to reach out for a moment there, Ahern. Less than a metre from the try line. Crash ball. Tony Tamusa gets there.
5 and a 6 profit.
Tamusa with authority. Weak from that crusher tackle. Madden with momentum hit winner Manly. Sutton as the things open up for Liam Sutton, and he takes on Milton and steps Milson. Liam Sutton announcing himself on the big stage. Always Jackson Sherritt, who's had an outstanding season for Norths, one of their best players, and now things open up. O'Sullivan, Milson gives it off to Jordan Lipp, and Lipp puts it down and scores for Norths. They're back in front. Possession. Brendan Fry. Short side play. Jarvis fires it to Madden. Tap on from Sutton. Filatonga for the corner. Ronald Filatonga. Play. They trail by 2. North. O'Sullivan cut out. Gagan in the corner. Manasi Kaho. Not always there when you call, but always on time. O'Sullivan right on the sideline. We're riding this one. And it stays to the right. So point shot now, Jarvis. Oh, they're going to go all the way back for the shot. Here it is. Jock Madden for the 2-point field goal. Distance not a problem. And it's gone underneath. Oh, the ball comes out. Kubo pounces. Gagan to the rescue.
Years, the North Devils have made the Host Plus Cup Grand Final with an 18-16 win in some drama-charged circumstances out at Bishop Park. The Devils, they were trailing late, but a beautiful pass from Sean O'Sullivan. The link work from Jacob Gagan sent Manasi Kaho on his way to the corner to make it 18 points to 16, but the game wasn't over there. Jock Madden went for 2 points. I have no idea what Matthew Milson was doing in the in-goal area. I have absolutely no idea. And Selwyn Cobbo was within inches of grounding the football. That reminded me very much of the ending of the 2020 Super League Grand Final. You can check it out at home on video, but it was very, very nearly similar. The way that both fullbacks, Bevan French in that instance, and then Matt Milson in this instance, almost stuffed it up. But the Devils, they earned their way to the Grand Final once more at KO Stadium, going up against Burleigh. We'll have a brief preview of it in a little moment. But let's take a look at our stats deep dive. Man of the match was Sean O'Sullivan. He had 15 runs, 104 metres, a line break assist, a try assist. He dominated the game control nicely in the attacking 20. He also had 19 tackles with 3 misses, 1 ineffective. One little area of concern for mine was the Devils' goal line attack. I felt at times they had plenty of chances to score, but a final pass went astray here. They went too direct with flat balls at the line, and that's just something that can be worked upon because that Burleigh defence that we saw on Saturday was really quite strong. James Flack is next. He had an hour of game time in the middle third. He had 18 runs for 143 metres, 61 post-contact metres, and offload, 31 tackles with just 1 miss. I thought that was a very impressive effort from James Flack, a player who has just gone above and beyond so often in season 2025. And then we go with Manasi Kaho. That game-winning try he scored, he had 20 runs for 177 metres, a line break, and 7 tackle breaks. Come of the hour, come of the moment, Manasi Kaho is the man that delivers in those big game situations for the Norths Devils, as he's done for all this year, their leading try scorer in the Host Plus Cup in 2025. Well, then we move on to Wynnum, and I think it's safe to say that the Devils are heartbroken at the moment, and rightly so. That game went right down to the wire, and it was a really tight game, and a really enjoyable game to watch on Sunday afternoon. Let's go through some of their key performers, and I want to kick off with Ronald Filatoiga. He had a try, 22 runs, 182 metres, a line break, 7 tackle breaks. He's rumoured to be heading down to Townsville next season, and he's one to definitely keep an eye on. Next up, Liam Sutton. This bloke is such a dynamic runner. That try in the 37th minute, the jink and the step and away he went was all class. He had 11 runs, 118 metres. He had a try assist, a line break assist, a line break and 2 offloads. I thought his creativity, absolutely mind-blowing. That tip-on for Filatoiga's try, absolutely world-class. But also for Wynnum, their on-goal defence in the first half, very, very sound. In the first half, they had a big score, that big stop on Sam Elliott early in the half. But then this bloke here, Kalolo Seitaua, 63 minutes on the edge, 11 runs, 79 metres, 7 tackle breaks and offload, 33 tackles with just 3 misses on the edge. I felt when he came off the field, the Wynnum were just struggling to go with him on the whole. I want to touch on Selwyn Cobbo as well. He had 17 runs, 123 metres, 5 tackle breaks. He had a bad error early on. It was a very poor pass that he had to control. I thought he had some really nice injection moments in the game. He had some good involvement, some good scramble. But we're going to touch on the Devils a little bit more in just a moment. But back on to Wynnum Manly. The season turned when Liam Sutton arrived from the Newcastle Knights. We're sort of midway through the year. He came down from the Knights, and their attack just increased with it. I think he got up to about the top 10 for try assists in the Queensland Cup this year. He was really, really sound the entire way through. Ben Farr at fullback was a revelation this year. Cam Bukowski, the young hooker, playing 23 matches, was also a sensation. Josh Corrick picked up the Player of the Year award at their awards night. He was really solid. And then the work of guys like Jaden Hunt in his 10 games, earning a recall up to first grade. The experience of Jordan Grant, the 31-year-old, formerly of the Penrith Panthers. Brendan Fry has been consistent the entire way through. He struggled the year with injury. And then some of the likes, Chaz Jarvis coming up from Cronulla. He had a great year. Jock Madden as well. Corey Pakes in games where he played. So they've got a lot of experience here, but a lot of players they need to keep as well. So that will be intriguing for Matt Head to deal with in 2025. But it sets us up for an epic grand final. Team 1 and Team 2. Like we're seeing in New South Wales, it's coming to the prophecy here in Queensland. Burleigh against North's Devils, the two best sides of the Host Plus Cup in season 2025. I'm going to take you through their records this season when these two teams have played. In fact, these two teams have only played once, and that was back in round 22. The quirks of the draw, and it was Burleigh running away 30 points to 22 winners that day. Nick O'Mealy, the son of Mark O'Mealy, picking up 2 tries. Sam Costa, Cole Guy, Ewan Moore, and Credence Toya with tries. Meanwhile, for the Devils, it was Jack Ahern, Matt Milson, Sam Elliott, and Tony Tamusa picking up tries in that contest. So it's going to be a very exciting grand final. If you're asking me for a tip, I'm going to have to go with Burleigh. I just think that their big game experience across the board in their pack, Josh Rogers and Guy Hamilton have been a stable halves combination. In fact, their spine has relatively been stable throughout the year. You throw in the impact of forwards like Takatau Mapapalungi amongst them, and you also throw in the likes there of Matt Colliner, who's been consistent, Sam Costa with his work rate through the middle, Fletcher Baker, and I just think they'll have a little bit too much for the Devils, but they're not going to go away, Norths. It's going to be an incredibly tight contest in this game. I think that the outside backs for Norths, they've got an advantage there. It's going to come down to the battle of the halves. Jack Ahern, Sean O'Sullivan against Guy Hamilton and Josh Rogers, and I think it's going to set the scene for an epic grand final. That's on Saturday, and you can catch the action for free on Fox League and also KO freebies. Well, that's the end of our program, our penultimate program for season 2025. It's been a pleasure bringing you the last 29 weeks of the lower grade wrap. We've got one more episode to go before our end of the year season previews. Once again, on behalf of the entire League Scene team, I'm AJ Luke Antonio. Thanks again for your support, and we'll see you next week for our grand final edition. Take care, everybody.